So my name is JB Bolvadin. I am the co-founder of the Entrepreneur Conference coming this September 14th, 2021 at the Space in Westbury, and I have a real treat for you today. I have with me Jason Mitchell. RealTrends just announced he's the #1 real estate team in the world, over $2.4 billion in production. Hey, look, I mean, if you just counted the 2.4 billion, you'd be 10 years older. That's how much this guy's doing. Jason, thank you so much for being with me today, and I appreciate you taking the time. And I'm really excited for these guys to get to know you, because I think the people that are going to be attending this conference are really going to get something special out of speaking with you.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it, and I apologize for my setting here. I was trying to get back. I'm in Las Vegas speaking with Renee Rodriguez, who will also be at the event. But I was trying to get back to my hotel room, and I just got cut short by the Las Vegas traffic here. So I pulled over, and I'm actually in my buddy's G-Wagon here taking this call. So forgive the background, but it is good to be here.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. It just proves to everyone, look, you get the job done no matter what's going on.
That's right. I'm weaving in and out of alleyways trying to find Wi-Fi to get on the call, and I finally found it. So here we are. So thanks for having me, JB. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you. So I want our audience to really get a chance to know you, because you know what's really interesting is that you've built a heck of a business in the real estate industry, and in a time where a lot of people have leveraged their type of performance based off of only focusing on luxury, or maybe piggybacking good PR, maybe having a television show, take nothing away from anyone else's success. You've been able to build this thing organically. How did you even get into this thing?
Well, you know, I've been in real estate since I graduated school. So that was 2002 or 2003. I started my internship in 2002 with Pulte, and then I worked for Pulte Homes for a period of about 4 years. And then I went on my own in residential real estate, did very well. Recession hits, lost a lot of clients, lost a lot of investments. And then in 2010, I went into the financial space for several years, which was great. I got a huge learning experience. I'm glad I did that. And then I got back into residential real estate 2010. In 2014, I became the #1 agent in the state of Arizona, 15, 16, 17. Same, and then I was growing my team at the time. And around 2013, I fell into this niche of servicing B2B, servicing my first partner, who's became my largest partner, which was at the time Quicken Loans, now Rocket Mortgage. And we've grown across the country with them, and when we started servicing their pre-qualified clients. And so what we would do is, when they had a client that didn't have an agent, that needed a good agent recommendation, they would recommend us. And so we started doing that in Phoenix, and we started closing more and more, getting more referrals. And then we started expanding our marketplaces, and then expanding our partnerships. And so today, 90% of the deals we do come from our great partners. And we'll do about 5,500 to 5,700 transactions this year for about 2.4 billion, of which 90% comes from our B2B partnerships. And so if you're an agent that works for JMG, as long as you do things our way and you can close, our average agent last year added 38 closings to their book of business, made an additional 170,000 in GCI on top of the business that they were currently doing.
Wow!
And so we love our model. Our model is amazing. It's a model that, you know, as we continue to grow and put great systems and process and training and education behind what we do, our partners, our national partners, and we have a lot of big ones now. You know, they know we're the best in the industry to do what we do, and that's to service your clients. And so whether you're a lender or a network like Ojo or OpCity and Realtor.com, whether you're Zillow Flex like we represent all these guys. And so we take great pride in it, but we built our entire business platform around servicing other people's consumers. And so it's been an amazing journey, and there's only upside to go, because this industry is consolidating to where search and lending is going to own the consumer. And so as the consumer gets harder to get to as an individual agent, you're going to find that these companies are now taking that consumer initially and then taking them down their process, their funnel. And it should be that way. It's a better experience for the consumer. So we think we're positioned very well, and we look forward to expanding relationships for the years to come.
Wow, that's awesome. So, I mean, like, obviously you built these are big companies that you're talking about. If someone who's basically an agent doing average transactions or just getting started in the business, How do they go about, is this even possible for them to model this or emulate this, or are they did they miss the train here?
Well, it's going to get harder because a lot of these groups now have their networks. And so at a national level, no, I don't. I think you need to partner with teams like JMG to help you grow your book of business. Now, on local levels, I think there's a B2B play, of course, partnering with local CPAs, attorneys, apartment complexes, nonprofit organizations, local companies, regional companies. Yes, I do think there is a play there for sure. But as far as the national companies that we service, like the Veterans United of the world, the Rockets of the world, the New American Fundings, the Amerisaves, Axos Bank, the list goes on and on who we service now. It's hard because, you can't just be an individual agent and say, hey, give me a bunch of referrals.
Right.
Like, you got to have your stuff together. You got to have reporting and process and, being able to ingest referrals, distribute referrals, have good messaging, good follow-up cadence with the opportunities you're receiving. And that's why, we become a better fit than your typical reload company because we have control over all of our agents because they're all under our brokerage. So instead of just being an agent that gets a referral a month from, say, like a Cardis or another reload company out there, well, that's great, but they don't have a lot of control over that agent because
Right.
they don't require them to do certain things because they don't give them enough currency. Whereas under our brokerage, which is why we have so much great control over our agents and what they do, is because we provide them with so much opportunity that they listen and they want to learn and they want to get better and they want to make sure that they can close more and more and more, because as we give them opportunity from our partners to close, which they do, it leads to more self-gen business from those people that refer their friends and family. So it's a beautiful model.
Yeah, no, it's extraordinary, and it's kind of the thing that makes me curious is that when you were building your business, what made you, because a lot of people don't think that big. That's a big step to go, hey, I'm going to pick national partners that are multi-billion-dollar organizations. What made you say, okay, I'm going to reach out to these guys? Did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? Was it your idea? Was it their idea? How did this come together when you initially put this beast together?
Yeah, and that's still part of the growth, and that's, for us, it's a little bit easier now than it was before, because now with our resume, a lot of people say, we know JMG does this better than anybody, and that's a blessing. Like, I do not take that lightly. That is an awesome thing to be able to say. But in the beginning, when we were working initially, like I said, with Rocket as our first partner, that was an amazing first partner. And so as we built out Phoenix and had great success, they trusted me and allowed me the opportunity to scale and go into other markets. And once I had more coverage, as I started to be able to go out and biz dev to some other partnerships, they loved the fact that I had such a big partner on my resume. And what made it even better for them was the more currency I could give our agents, the more I could get them to do the things that are required to do to manage this network. And so all my partners love the fact that I work with other groups. And what you think would be a detriment, it's actually an asset, because as we control so much currency now to our agents, they now are better agents. And now we're teaching them our ways, which is what our partners love. But if I only had one partner, two partners, I couldn't do that because I wouldn't have as much currency. So the more we add, the better we become. And so, and our partners get that, they understand that, but they also know that, my job is to help all of my partners in any way, shape, or form. So whether it's Open Door, who's a partner, and helping them build a referral network on their side, or whether it was Zillow Flex, or, anybody that's looking to stand up a third-party real estate company, anybody that's looking to manage a network, what's the best practices in doing so? What type of agents do we look for? Do we go individual agent? Do we go team model? How do we want to run distribution? Do we do it direct to agent? Do we do it direct to point of contact? Like, all these things that I've learned over the years, and now have so much knowledge with all these great companies that trust me. Because, my partners, they're not just like, I'm not a guy that just takes their referrals. I mean, these companies, the people at these companies have become like family to me, and so, when you talk to people so much, you just build these relationships that are so deep. I mean, every day I'm on the phone with my partners, and I say every day I'm on the phone with multiple partners. And then we look to different revenue streams, different ways to, enhance the network, different ways to enhance the lending side and have higher capture rate. And so it's been a big honor to be able to work so closely with these major organizations. And for me, that's my way to say thank you for allowing us to do business with you, is by giving up my time to these companies. And that's what I do every day.
That's awesome. That's incredible. And so, I mean, you really have your finger on the pulse in this market too. What are some things that agents should expect be the evolution of this business over the next 5 years? Because it's already not the same as it was a year ago. How drastic is that change going to be in your opinion?
Massive. It is going to be a game that is owned by organizations that want to give consumers a better experience. That's it. And so whether it's driving a consumer from search or driving them at pre-qual, what used to be 10 years ago, a realtor would refer a client to a lender. Now it's the opposite. And it's going to get even more challenging for the individual agent because they can't compete to get to these consumers. And whether that's fair or unfair, I'm telling you that it is fair, because in order to be a part of these companies that are going to own a lot of the consumer experience, you're vetted. You can't just be a normal average agent. You got to be good at what you do. You got to have a resume for success. And so as agents are going to see that consumers are getting harder to get to, they're also going to find that you can't buy leads from a lot of these major providers.
Yeah.
Zillow, you can't buy leads from Zillow anymore, basically. Realtor.com, nope. I mean, these companies that were high power lead machines for agents for so long is going away, because they want to own the consumer now at what they're asking them to do, not what they're being asked to do. I made a great point on a podcast last month. Someone was asking me about Zillow Flex and the process with that. And I said, well, if all of a sudden you got thousands and thousands of agents that are spending $1,000 a month, 5,000, 10,000, and they're calling Zillow because maybe they didn't hit their capacity that month, and they're sitting there arguing with their Zillow rep of, well, I'm getting garbage leads and this and that. Like, Zillow doesn't want to deal with that aggravation. So what they did is they flipped the script. They said, hey, look, we're going to control the experience. So you're not going to buy leads from us anymore. We're going to refer them out. But now you're going to do it with our expectations, so the consumer has a better experience. And it's the same thing on the big lending side with partners too. They want to know, if I take a 1003, if I take an application from a consumer, I want to put this in trusted hands of the best professionals, so my client has an amazing experience, because that's going to reflect on me. But they also know, which is even more critical, is that if they don't connect them with a trusted partner, the minute that consumer goes and finds their own agent, that agent will direct them to one of their local lenders that they have a relationship with. So it's ever more important that if you're going to pay for the lead up front, that you're owning that experience for the consumer and matching them with these trusted agent professionals, so the consumer stays within their pipelines. And that is going to become more, and I'm telling you, like, every lender running consumer direct purchase has to have this model. Otherwise, your closing ratios from application to close are just so minimized. And networks and search companies, they need it too, because you need trusted boots on the ground. So it is the future of real estate.
Yeah, I mean, that makes total sense. And it's kind of like what I'm hearing as you're saying this is, for the real estate agents listening, amateur hour is over. Yeah, you're going to really, you really can't just kind of get by anymore in this business. So, and what we see too from on our side, because we're a real estate training organization, 85 to 90% of agents in any given market aren't actually, when I say professional, a lot of people think professional means polite or care, but when I say professional, they actually know how to handle a transaction, move it along, and have codified processes that they can duplicate with others. And that doesn't exist in the marketplace. So when you say they're going to be vetted now, to someone listening and kind of wondering, like, what does that mean? Can you give some examples of what a properly vetted agent should, or what an agent looking to be the right candidate for this type of approach, what should their business or their activities, their processes look like?
Yeah, and so we take a lot of that burden off of our partners, because they know our process, our vetting process, and then our training and onboarding and our development is top notch. And so, we're fortunate that most of our partners trust us to select the agents that we want to work with them. And so I look at it as a JMG thing. What do we look for in an agent? It's not about how much volume you're doing. It's how motivated you are. It's, hey, do you have some experience? Great. And if so, are you motivated? Can you close? Some of my best agents are only in their second and third year in the business, and they'll do 30, 35, $40 million this year.
Wow.
And so we want to make sure, number one, are you coachable? Number two, are you going to do things our way? because our way means you got to show up to every meeting, every continued training. You got to make sure that you're using the CRM the proper ways, which we train you on. But we do this because our reporting has to be accurate, and we have to make sure we're giving that consumer the best experience possible, because that's what our partners ask of us. That's what they demand of us. And so it's not the agent that has to have all this experience. It's the agent that really wants to grow their business, and they're willing to say, look, I'll go under this regime of opportunity, and I'll follow the rules because I know I can close way more deals and make way more money and have a future in this business. And that's what we want. We want agents that are motivated, that get the model, that understand what we bring to the table. And if they do, there are requirements. You can't be a brand new agent and you can't have only done 5-10 deals. Like, you got to have some experience. But I don't look at experience as something that we can't train upon. I look at the agent that says, look, I know I'm better off giving up some of my commission and closing 40 deals a year than not giving up any of my commission at 100% shop and do 7 deals a year, or do 10 deals a year, where we can, because when we add 30, 40 deals to your closings, that's going to lead to more self-gen business. So the next year you should do 50 deals, and the following year you should do 70. I had over 25% of my agents last year, over 75% of my agents last year closed over 50 transactions, and I had over half of my agents last year close over 60 transactions.
That's incredible.
That's unheard of in our space.
Yeah. I don't know. I know a lot of teams, and they're successful in their own right, but that type of stats is just totally unheard of. You're the first one and probably the only one that has stats like that for 70% of your team. And how big is your team about?
Well, right now, we've grown a lot this year in 2021. We have, to give you a background, in 2018, we did 272 million. 2019, we did 550 some million. Last year, we did 1.4 billion. This year, we'll do 2.4 billion.
Wow.
So we've grown a lot over the past 4 years. And the cool thing is because we're becoming a brand name when it comes to being the best B2B real estate partner in the game. Now, a lot of organizations are coming to me saying, we know you know how to do this. A, can you help us? And B, can we partner? And we're happy to oblige. And so, as long as it's the right fit, of course. But so we've grown quickly, but we've also implemented amazing strategy behind what we just get better and better every month,
Yeah.
And so, that's the trajectory. And for us right now, it's all about adding more agents to our current marketplaces. So we're in 58 MSAs, and we have so many opportunities that we need to add more agents. So it's recruiting agents within the markets we're in, and then opening new marketplaces that we can service our clients. So we're in 19 states, we're licensed in 26, and of those 7 states that we're not operational in, we need to find good leadership that want to run a JMG market, and we will drive an incredible amount of opportunity into that market to where you and your agents close more business than you ever thought possible. So that's the goal.
That's incredible. Now, if I can rewind for a moment, when you first got into real estate, were you a solo agent? We're talking when you were done, when you were right out of school. How long were you a solo agent?
Well, that depends on how you consider solo agent, because once I got to about, my first year back was 2010. I think I did 9 million. 2011, I did about 17, 18. And then 2012, I hired an assistant because I needed some support. And then as I started to drive more referral opportunity the following year, I added my first buyer's rep, which is a great story. Her name is Claire. She was my first hire, and she's been my #1 agent every single year. And since she's joined my team in 2014, maybe it was even 13, she's closed over 700 transactions with me.
Wow.
And so when I stopped, so I was still even though I had some buyer's reps, I was still doing a lot of my own business. In 2017, I set an Arizona state record. I did 144 million in personal production. And so, but at that time, I was building the team at the same time. And so what I did is I took a back seat. I believed in our model so much that I said, I don't need to produce anymore. I want to grow this company because it's so niche-y on what we do, and it's so unique. And I think our value prop is off the charts. And so for me, it was, I'm going to take a back seat of my own production, and I'm going to grow this company, and we're going to get to numbers that I never thought I would achieve. But I can't be in the field anymore. It's I'm constantly with our partners and working with our operations team. And now we have a staff of we have a call center to do our follow-up cadence, and then our prospecting. And then internally we have a marketing division, we have social, we have processing, we have our communications department, which is actually probably our largest department, is comprised of a group of team members. Their only job is to make sure that referrals are being distributed instantly via our automations, and then reassignments, working with clients that are not having a good experience and getting them out there, making sure we're holding our agents accountable, communicating with our partners on new agents that can go on their program. I mean, our communications department is extremely important because that's the hub. I call them my air traffic controllers. That's all they do all day is traffic control all the different referral sources and referrals that come in, and they do a great job. And so we've just grown a lot, and I'm confident we're going to continue to do so.
Wow. I mean, so the thing is, with your model, it appears a lot of people, when they get into this industry, they think very much like salesperson and crush sales. And it seems very quickly you developed it from a business person point of view, which allowed you to scale the way you did, because it sounds like very early on in your career, you decided you personally were not going to grind through it single-handedly. You were going to build this whole infrastructure you have now, which is allowed to scale it. For some people that have been trying to do it solopreneur, what would be your advice to them, even though they may be doing a lot individually?
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that at some point you stretch yourself too thin, and you got to find ways to create leverage. And so for me, what I looked at was, like, it clicked for me very early when Claire joined, because I had a lot of referrals at that time with Rocket. Because they were my only partner, they gave me a chance, right? And so I was working some, but they started giving me more. And so I hired Claire, and I started to realize, wait a minute, like, as long as I do a great job at this relationship and I get more business, I can now leverage her to create more wealth and income for the company. But yet I'm also helping her build her career and making her money, and my partner's happy. Yeah, I'll sign up for that. And so it was just about leveraging the relationships to bring in more business, to now bring more value to our agents and then our partners. So it is a business, and we're very systematic in what we do. I mean, we've built out some incredible systems and process, but there's nothing wrong being an individual agent, nothing at all. And if you got a great book of business, you're going to do fine for a while, right? It's the agents that are just getting in the business or can't get over the hump of doing 5 or 10 million a year. How do I get to 20? How do I get to 30? Like, if you haven't really solid, established a really solid book, it is going to get more difficult being a real estate professional out there, because things are changing. And so, and we want to invite those people to talk to us, because we want to see, are you a good fit? And if you are, we certainly want to plug you into what we can do. And but the future is going to be done through relationships, for sure.
Yeah, it's very true. So with September 14th coming up, I'm super excited to have you coming out to it. What are some things that you'll be discussing that the people can expect to hear from you? Because I know we have a real estate heavy audience, so they're going to be super pumped to hear what you have to say. What can they expect? What are some things you're going to cover for us?
Well, I want to make sure too that the thing about real estate that's different than lending is, there's a lot of contrast. Like, in lending, you can have a centralized office and do business in all 50 states if you have a license. In real estate, you can't. You got to have boots on the ground in all those states. But in the real estate space, what makes it harder in the sense of education compared to loan officers is that, and not necessarily, maybe that's not necessarily true, but the levels that we have, like, if you're an agent doing 0 to 5 million in production, it's a different discussion on what you need to be doing to enhance your career than someone that's currently doing 50. And if you're doing 100 million in production and you want to get to $250 million, what you're doing is different than the person that's doing 50. So every phase, I call it the levels. Every phase has different struggles that we deal with and different things that we need to be working on to get to that next level of your real estate career. So I'm excited because I want to touch on a lot of those, because you might be a level 2 agent, which is 5 million to 15 million, but you want to get to a level 3. So a lot of the things we're going to talk about, if I'm talking about level 3, you're going to know what the next step in your career is. If you're doing 0 to 5 million, you want to be a level 2, we're going to talk about those steps. So what I'm going to talk about are in the different phases of our careers as real estate professionals, what are some of the things that you need to be doing within your level so you can get better and get to the next level? So things from whether it be systems and process, whether it be the right way to market, whether it's organically, open house strategy, still farm strategy, like old school stuff that still works. But the more capital you create, the different the opportunities are out there. Whereas if you don't have capital to spend, then you got to rely on organic marketing, word of mouth, social media. So we're going to go over a lot of strategy to help you build your business and what it takes to go from doing 10 million and how do you get to 30? And then if you're doing 30, how do you get to 50? And if you're doing 50, how do you get to 100? And that's my goal. I want people to leave there excited about the fact that they took away some nuggets that they can take back to the office and really help grow their business.
That's awesome. Well, I'm super excited for everyone to get billion-dollar advice, no exaggeration, from the man himself. Jason, thanks for taking the time.
Speaking of that, I was just with Grant Cardone 2 weeks ago in Miami. I spent 3 days with him and his wife and some of my other friends down there. And I will tell you that is my first time actually spending a lot of time with him, going to his home and like doing a lot of great things with Elena and, going on the helicopter and seeing the developments they have and everything going on. And I will tell you that what people perceive when they see people on social, everybody forms an opinion.
Yeah.
And I left Miami and I was so happy and excited that the person I met there was A, he was real, B, he was humble actually. Like people look at Grant sometimes and think, oh, all this guy does is show his toys. He's earned those toys.
Yeah.
And he's actually very humble, but his work ethic is second to none. And to do what he's doing at the level he's doing it and the energy that both of them had, it was like inspiring for me. Like I came back so pumped up. So we got a great lineup and you got Tim, right? Tim's going to be there. He's incredible. You got Renee, who I'm with right now. Like that lineup is amazing. So I can't wait. I'm excited to see the speakers. I'm excited to meet everybody going. And I really hope that people understand that this is something that doesn't come around a whole lot. This is a maybe once, twice a year opportunity to go to an event like this. So I hope people understand that.
Yeah, and it's actually the first time in Long Island. Might be the only time, so we might take this on the road. So we got to take advantage of it now, especially the locals.
Yes.
So yeah, Jason, thanks again. So looking forward to September 14th. I'm really excited about it. Super, super happy to have you aboard. And for everyone watching, Jason Mitchell, you want to see him September 14th, get your tickets now, entrepreneurconference.live. Thanks again, Jason.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. We'll see you there.